The Rulemaking Advisory Committee will begin shortly. If you're in the room, please sign up to register by the door. Good morning. For the record, my name is Pierre Sabat, Policy Analyst with the Division, and I'm the facilitator for today's Rulemaking Advisory Committee. This is a hybrid hearing being held in person in the main conference room of the State Building Codes Division at 1535 Edgewater Street, Northwest, Salem, Oregon, and virtually over Zoom. This Rulemaking Advisory Committee is being recorded to maintain a permanent record. Today's date is April 2nd, 2024. The time is approximately 9:30 a.m. The purpose of today's Rulemaking Advisory Committee is to assist the Building Codes Division, or the Division, in updating the language to expand the scope for the Specialized Plumber Inspector certification. The role of the committee is to provide valuable feedback and alternative perspectives on the proposed rulemaking. For today's agenda, I will begin with a short introduction and background on the rule. We will then move into our discussion. Any additional topics and next steps will be discussed at the end of the meeting. Our plumbing chief, Andy Skinner, is also here virtually for any questions. For some background, Oregon Administrative Rule 918-098-1570 is the rule for the Specialized Plumbing Inspector certification in Oregon. The rule language specifies what types of structures specialized plumbing inspectors may or may not conduct inspections in for plumbing and piping systems. The Division is considering a rulemaking to expand the scope of this certification to better align with the scope of the Residential Plumbing Inspector Certification, or the CAP, under OAR 918-098-1570, and to update the language of Section 1 of this rule, which would allow inspections of plumbing systems and buildings with water surfaces 2 inches or less. The first topic today is the Division's proposed updated language to the rule. The Division welcomes any feedback and discussion on the proposed updated language to the rule. The proposed language was attached to today's agenda. Some questions to consider. Does the expanded scope of this rule under OAR 918-098-1570 align in a way that satisfies local government and customer needs? Is there a better way to improve the scope of this rule to align with the scope of the Oregon Residential Plumbing Inspector, or CAP, certification? Are there other areas that need adjustments, and how can they be improved? And now the discussion is open. Thank you. Once again, the current topic is topic 1, which is the Division's proposed updated language to the rule. The Division welcomes any feedback and discussion on this proposed language. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to topic 2. Topic 2 is, what are the potential fiscal and economic impacts of this rulemaking? With any rulemaking, the Division is required to make particular note of the potential fiscal and economic impacts that might result from new rules. The Division is requesting input from the committee on the nature and extent of any fiscal or economic impact that may be caused by this rule. Some examples of potential fiscal or economic impact would be, are there additional costs or requirements on local municipalities? Are there additional costs or requirements on particular types of businesses? Will the rule require additional training to implement, comply with, or enforce? And will the rule make particular actions or products more or less expensive? This list is just some examples, So any thoughts on fiscal and or economic impact that go beyond the items detailed in this list are welcome. So if anyone would like to speak on that, please do. Please do. Thank you. Once again, we are on topic 2, which is any potential fiscal and economic impacts of this rulemaking. I'll hold this topic open for another minute or two. Okay, we'll move on to our third topic, which is what are the potential impacts on racial equity in the state? With any rulemaking, the division is required to make particular note on any potential impact on racial equity in the state that might result from any new rules or rule changes. The division would welcome any input from the committee on the nature and extent of any impact this rule may have on racial equity in Oregon. We'll keep this open for a couple of minutes. Thank you. Once again, we are on topic 3, which is any potential impacts on racial equity in the state. Okay, moving on. This is an opportunity for the committee to discuss any additional issues that haven't been previously brought up. It's also an opportunity for the committee or anyone who has joined late today to the Zoom to return to any previous issues that were discussed, but where an additional discussion may be beneficial. So if anyone would like to talk about the rule language, the rule, how to improve it, any fiscal impact, any racial equity issues, now is the time. Thank you. Seeing no discussion, I will discuss the next steps. The division anticipates the following for updating the rule language in OAR 918-098-1570. Sometime in May, probably late May, the division anticipates holding a public rulemaking hearing where interested parties can provide testimony about the proposed updated rule language. On June 13th, 2024, the division will bring the proposed updated rule language to the State Plumbing Board to make a final recommendation for adoption. On July 1, 2024, the division anticipates concluding the rulemaking process, and that will be the effective date, which is, once again, July 1st, 2024. That concludes today's Rulemaking Advisory Committee. Thank you.